This podcast is sponsored by Camera Museum of London and Tang Cigars of 44 Museum Street, London. Welcome to a Fish Out of Water podcast. This is your host, Richard Lipman. Today, we are interviewing Kip Rosser. This is part 2 of 3 of this podcast.
There are a couple of things that I can cover. There's one thing that if you'd like me to cover, I can do, which is, excuse me, there are a number of people who question me about how to play jazz. And I love playing jazz on the theremin and improvising. Once I got the classical music under my belt after 2 years, I started experimenting, trying to play jazz and stuff, and developed various techniques, and also messed around with the inside of the theremin to make sure that I could get sharp articulation and do things like this. That would allow me for fast rhythms. But most people want to know about jazz, and there was a really excellent jazz composer and pianist who I was friends with for years, and unfortunately she moved away. But one of the principles that she taught me.
Sorry, what was her name?
Oh, I don't want to get her into trouble. And don't put that in the podcast. No, she's moved on. She's doing a lot of other things right now. I don't know if she'd appreciate my mentioning her name. I really don't. At any rate, the principle was this. When she saw me improvising, and she said, go back a little bit, go back to the beginning and try this. And I have found that people actually disagree, a number of theremin players actually disagree with me on this. And that is, I have said on more than one occasion, to really get good at starting to play jazz, if you've never done it, is to put something on that you like, find the root note and play a scale and just go up and down the scale. And this is what she taught me. I'll demonstrate that for you very quickly. Won't play the whole song. You know the song, It Had to Be You? It's in the public domain, and that's why I picked it, so you don't have to worry about copyright issues. Anyway, the song itself sounds like this. I'll play the melody. Wrong one. Come on, back. There, okay, and you'll hear it. And the song goes like this. That's the melody, right? To start, you find the root note. Now watch on play scale. That's all I'm doing is playing a scale up and down, up and down. That's the first step. And once you get proficient at that, you can begin to listen to other jazz musicians and really get to improvising like this. See what I mean? So I won't go through the whole song.
Sounds like
That's eventually. Pardon me?
Sounds like you're part of the back. So
Yeah. And like I said, I love playing jazz. So I spent a lot of time practicing, listening to the way certain people play, the way they improvise, particularly people like Stefan Grappelli and Joe Venuti who play the jazz violin, because you can slide on this thing. There are trombonists like Mel Balliston and others, Jack Teagarden. There are piano players, and you can listen to how they form their phrases, and the more you listen, the more you can pick up. But the idea that you can actually start by just going up the scale and down the scale, and you listen, and when the chords change, you pick notes. But I was never skipping. I was never skipping in thirds or fourths. I was just going sequentially. And occasionally I would stop on a note and go one note down, one note up, one note down, one note up, just in rhythm. And you heard, I never went fast rhythms or varied rhythms. I was just going da, 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 da. It's an amazing way to begin to learn.
Can you
Just
do
amazing.
tones, semitones?
Oh, sure. Obviously, if I play one note, there are just an infinite number of things. When you're playing various songs that are conducive to that, you can do all kinds of microtones and things. The tough part is when you're not doing that and you go off key, because believe me, I go off key. I go off key when I'm playing. You really have to listen to yourself. And I'm an advocate for any of you theremin players out there who have never seen any of the YouTube lessons. Always record yourself when you're practicing. Always. Record yourself, because there's a difference between what you hear when you're playing and what you are going to hear when you're just listening. And I have been fooled, believe me. I learned to do this many years ago when I played a New Year's Eve concert for about an hour and a half. Somebody recorded me on their phone, which I did not know, and they posted this video, a short video of me, on YouTube without my knowing it. And I had no idea, but the entire concert, and I mean the entire hour, I was playing off key the entire time, sharp. And I could have sworn what I was hearing was fine. And when I heard that video, first of all, I contacted the guy and asked him to please take it down, because other members of the theremin community are going, oh my God, listen to this, he's off key the whole time. And, wonder why that happened. And this was in theremin forums, and I went in and said, I have no excuse. I was off key the whole time. I have no idea how it happened, but that taught me a lesson. That's when I began recording myself every time I practiced, so that I could hear and make sure that what I was hearing while I was playing was going to be what I was hearing when I was listening later on to what I went back to. But I still hit some clams every now and then. It's a very unforgiving instrument, and people notice when you're playing a song if you're off key. My wife is my favorite and best critic, because I'll be down here practicing, and I'll go upstairs, she goes, you were off key the whole time. So I've learned my lesson. It's a great idea to record yourself. While we're talking, I'm going to switch theremins, because the preponderance of theremin players that contact me now, rather than having an ether wave because of the expense, I don't know if you know this, but these used to go for $369. And the newer ether wave from 2022, I think, goes for what, 600, 700, 800, something like that, maybe more. Yeah. And it's essentially the same machine, and they stole an idea from me.
What was that?
They did. You know the plastic strip that's on the new ether wave? Yeah. Many years ago, okay, this is off. I'm going to turn this amp off just for a second. Many, many years ago, in every ether wave that I had, I did this. I don't know if you can see this, but I drilled 3 holes in the instrument, in the top of the instrument there. That was so when I went and performed live, I would be able to adjust the pitch circuits and the volume circuits depending upon the electronics that were in the room and things like that. Because there were many times when I got into a place, and one time the chandelier, this huge chandelier, was interfering with the theremin. Another time I couldn't get the thing to be quiet. And the pitch circuits weren't available to me. If you don't drill holes in that thing, see, and now, you can lift that plastic strip up and you can reach those things. So for years, I actually have tutorials on where to drill the holes and how to fix the thing so that you can mess with it, because there have been so many occasions where I was unable to predict what the theremin was going to do once I got it there. And being able to just go and twizzle the little screwdriver that they give you. Oh, by the way, tip for any theremin player that loses that little red tool, don't buy it on eBay. They want $26 for it. There's a website, and I can provide you, Richard, with the link. They're $2. They're $2. And somebody's trying to get $27 for those little screwdrivers. And they're only $2. So don't buy them on eBay. Anyway, this is the ether wave. And the preponderance of people that contact me now buy ether waves. I think it's more an economical choice than anything else, because it's the least expensive Moog theremin out there right now. And it's gotten something of a bad rap over the years. People think it's a novelty, it's a toy, it's not really a real...
The Theremini.
The Theremini, that's correct. And they say, hold on, I'm going to turn you up a little bit because I can't hear you very well.
No, I'll turn myself.
The Theremini has 31 different presets. You can change the root note, the scale note. It's got all kinds of stuff. It has an editing suite. I'm not plugging a Moog Theremini, but it has an editing suite that you can put on your computer, hook this to the computer, and actually make your own sound effects and swap them in and out of the libraries. It's a fascinating machine. There are two limitations to it in that you can't really articulate rapid notes. You can't go da-da-da-da-da-da. You can't do that. It's too soupy a response. And articulation and rapid notes, rapid articulation and staccato aren't really possible. But other than that, it's fine. The guy that came and visited me the day before yesterday wants to buy a theremin and wasn't so sure about this because it gets a lot of criticism online. And I'm here to tell you that it can sound just like any other theremin, and the reason why people are contacting me is because I have tutorials that are specifically for the Theremini online. It's an entire course. It covers everything in terms of how to play it, but also covers things that most other theremin, I'm doing a commercial for myself. Most other theremin players do not deal with. Breath, your mindset, everything from your posture to the way you move, the ability to take what you've learned. Let's say you learn a song, and you can get all the notes right, but you can see more than one tutorial of mine where I say, once you get the notes right, that's when the work begins. That's when the challenge starts. Because now that you can play, try to make the song your own. And you do that by imbuing it with feeling. How do you translate what you're feeling or what you want the audience to feel into the music? And there are tutorials about that too. For instance, one of the things is listen to the lyrics of the song. Is it a sad song? Is it a happy song? What emotions do the lyrics convey that you are unable to do because you are unable to sing while you're playing? And then start learning how to fill yourself with these types of emotions and translate it into how you interpret the music, such as the speed of your vibrato, how you articulate the notes. Do you slide in? Do you not slide? All of these things can create an emotional foundation for what you're playing. And so those tutorials cover that as well. But the biggest problem people have with this, I'm not going to teach how to do it. You can go look up Kip Rosser Theremini 101 on YouTube, and you will see how to calibrate it. But what I am going to do is turn this on, and you'll see how quickly it can be calibrated.
Right. And that's lesson zero.
Lesson zero, isn't it?
No, lesson 0 is for an ether wave. Lesson 0 is how to do it, how to set the pitch calibration for an ether wave, a standard ether wave, or the Ether Wave Pro, or even the Clarivox. They all have to be calibrated pretty much the same way. But this thing, it's like a 5-step process. So I always calibrate it without hooking it up to an amp. You turn it on, and you press the setup button. It tells press and hold setup to calibrate. Now I'm just going to calibrate without speaking, and you'll see how quickly I can do it. Here we go. You ready? This is the entire calibration process. You have to step away from it for a second. That's it. Now I hook it up to the amplifier.
Any specific types of amps?
I choose. I have I have a huge sound system with 24 speakers and a giant subwoofer. It's a 6.5 foot tall, 24 4-inch speakers in a column. It's the Bose personal PAS system. I bought it when it first came out, and it has a big subwoofer. But you get a remote on it that allows you to control low, mid, and high range tones. And I have 2 other amps that allow you to control bass, mid-range, and treble. This one, the one that's over here, can do that. So to get a beautiful, really ethereal theremin sound on it, I set the treble and the bass in such a way. There we go. Now we're up there.
One quick question. If one is using another model of the Moogs, special effects, like pedals.
Yes. Sure. I have all kinds of pedals. I have a looping station that enables you to play the theremin and loop over yourself and get 10 theremins going. I have a wah-wah pedal that's really weird when you hook it up to a theremin. I have a small effects processor, which is digital, called the Korg Pandora. It's actually for guitar, but when you hook a theremin up to it and you press these effects, you don't even know it's a theremin anymore. But there are presets in the Theremini that do the same thing, that sound totally different from what a theremin, a classic theremin, would sound like. Most people who buy the Theremini want their Theremini to sound like a classic theremin. That's what they buy it for, and it can, and it does. I have my treble controls off or very low, all the bass and mid-range up, because the treble gives it a whistle and harmonics that you don't need, but that ethereal theremin sound is right here. It can sound just as good as any other theremin.
And this is the classic mode. One question.
Yes.
When we're recording Columbia or a label, what on earth would they record?
Well, the way I record my music videos, sometimes I want people to know that when I'm playing, and you see in one of my music videos, that I'm not editing it, that I'm not pitch correcting it, I'm playing it live in real time. Some of the stuff that I can play has been called into question every now and then. Oh, he's not really doing that. He's sped it up, or whatever. No. So most of the time, the music videos that I will record go from the line out on the theremin, or this one, directly to the Bose PAS system, and from the Bose out into the computer, so that there is no room tone, there's no ambience, and it's a pure theremin sound. So I'll play it, and then I open up the audio program, and I'll have the accompaniment go in at the same time. I have 2 outputs, so I can put both accompaniment and the theremin sound direct. I can hear it live, but what I'm listening to, I will play, but it goes directly into the computer, so there's no room tone, no ambience, no nothing. But there are certain ones, such as if you go to YouTube and type in Kip Rosser, Pure Imagination, the song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that is in real time without going through the computer. It's just, so you'll hear the room tone. I do this because I want people to know this is being played live without any alterations whatsoever. So if I hit a bad note, I hit a bad note, and you get to hear it. I may record it 10 times, and the one that I think is the best recording is the one that will go on the air or get uploaded. But I'm a stickler for people realizing that there's no editing involved, none.
Fantastic.
At any rate, this thing this thing has 31 presets. And it has all kinds of effects and things like that. You see, the circuitry is warmed up, so it's a little bit more temperamental. Now the control space is a little far out, but that's okay. But you can set these, listen to some of these. There's one. Now it also quantizes frequencies. There are 9 presets on the Theremini where you can override the quantization. For instance, on preset 1, which is called the classic theremin, right now, it's just like a regular theremin, but if I use the pitch correction knob, all of a sudden, it quantizes the frequencies. There are 9 presets that you can override the quantization on, but only 9 out of the 31. But there are some marvelous sounds. All different stuff. And just... You can just great stuff. And there are tutorials on how to use those. You can get echo, you can get reverb, you can turn effects off, you can change the amount of the effect that you want. Like for this one, if I make the effect a long delay and set it all the way to maximum, it sounds like this. So this is great for doing all kinds of abstract sound effects and soundscapes and things like that. And since the bulk of the people that contact me, they own this particular theremin, I teach it. Obviously, if somebody, I have I think it's a March 7th or March 10th tutorial. I'm not sure whether the person is in the US or in another country. I have students that students that have contacted me from Ireland, Germany, Canada, Great Britain, Italy, Belgium, all over the world. People will contact me and ask for a private lesson. And more often than not, the Theremini is what they have. And so teaching on it is great.
Is there something you kindly sort of a well sci-fi tune on it?
I knew you would ask that. I knew you were going to ask that. Sure. See if you recognize this, okay? Now, you have to understand that the original version of this, there was never a theremin. Never a theremin in this theme song. Everybody thinks there was, but it wasn't. It was a woman singing, and later on when they re-recorded it for some reason, I don't know what, it was a woman singing and a flute in unison with the woman singing. But there has never been a theremin in this song. Quiet, you. I'm going to get the preset. I'll use the preset, so there's a tiny bit of echo here. That's good enough. There. Let's see if you'll recognize the first 4 notes. Right? I mean, what else are you going to play on this thing? It's a very long intro. Normally I have puppets of the Enterprise and fly them around. It's really cheesy looking.
That was nice.
But believe it or not, whoops, stop. This thing likes to go to the next song when it's not supposed to. Okay, but there was a film that I was asked to score. A film by a filmmaker named Michael Jason Allen. I think it was 2014, 15, or 16. I can't remember which. I think it was 16. He made a film called An Idle Mind is the Devil's Playground. And he found me on Reverb Nation, because I have some samples of mine there. And he contacted me and asked me if I could compose the score for his film. And this film involved the lead character, whose name is Sid Kotler, who is a theremin player. And the actor that he had hired to play Sid Kotler did not know how to play the theremin. I don't even know if he had ever seen one. And so I was asked to provide sound effects and things that he could mime playing the theremin to, but I was also asked to score the film. And it's not really a science fiction film, but you know as well as I do that many of the theremin scores for the early sci-fi films like Rocket Ship XM and all, they basically just do this. And they play scary stuff like. So in scoring the film, I wanted to compose music that had the eerie, creepy sound, but took it a little further into melodies and harmonies.
Can I ask, when you score a film, are you looking at the script or at the actual finished film, and do you perform it at the same time?
Well, in this case, the film had not been shot, and I was sent the screenplay, and then I spoke to the filmmaker, director, Jason, and we talked about where the music would go, what kinds of things he would need. Oh, can you make sure that there are some eerie theremin sounds for various parts? There's this scene where one of the neighbors is walking to the theremin player's house.
Can you demonstrate
that? What do you mean?
The walking.
No, because it's scored on sheet music, but it involves 7 theremins overdubbed.
Okay.
Yeah, this particular piece that I'll play for you, it's about less than 2 minutes long, is the theme from the movie. And you will hear, I will play the melody, and all the other harmonies are about 5 or 6 theremins at certain times. But he needed some eerie, sort of suspenseful music, because the neighbor is going to go over and see who's living in this house where the theremin players, and he sets it up by, she takes this big butcher knife out of the kitchen and is walking to the guy's house. And what you think is that there's going to be some weird thing, but when she finds him, it's a knife to cut a slice of pie that she's brought. So there's some funny twist to it. But this is the actual theme song. What was really interesting was I was composing it, writing it on the sheet music, and sending him the scores, because he had said that his brother was going to put strings into it. So I left air in the soundtrack, in the score, for violins and things like that. Not only did that not happen, but it turned out that neither him or his brother reads music. So sending the score didn't do any good at all. But it's okay. So this is the theme from An Idle Mind is the Devil's Playground. And you'll hear, I hope it's an evolution of the eerie things that theremins can do without sounding so cliched. It's in 5/4 time, and the theremins are overdubbed. So at one point, including me, there will be at least 5 theremins playing in harmony. Mm-hmm. Can you hear it all right? That high note on the theremin was hard to reach. No, don't play again. It always wants to play again. There. So, what sounds a little bit like women singing in the background in harmony are really 4 or 5 theremins playing in harmony.
That is very interesting. Do you think call you back in 10 minutes for the last session, part 3? Yeah, very quickly, so I'll ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Okay, I'll send a link. Thank you.
Okay, I'll wait to get the link from you. Okay.
Thank you.
See you in a minute, or 2 or 3.
This podcast is sponsored by Cameron Museum of London and Tang Cigars of 44 Museum Street, London. Thank you for listening to a Fish Out of Water podcast. This is your host, Richard Lipman. Should you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please get in touch.